How's Rupert?
Rupert's great.
Aww.
He always has that thing though, like when I was leaving, he sits by the door because he can tell he's not coming. He knows somehow, so he just like in between me and the door, and like he sits down like in between my bags and stuff, and just like looks at me like, "Am I coming?"
Oh, it kills me.
Like, nope.
Does he see your suitcase and get bummed out?
Yeah, anytime I pack, like he can tell if I'm just like going downstairs. It's weird. If I'm going downstairs to like put like garbage in the garage.
Yeah.
No, like doesn't bother him at all.
But he knows when you're going downstairs
Yeah.
yeah.
He can tell.
Hi, how's it going? Okay. Oh my gosh, I have your cinnamon soap. And I forgot it.
Oh, I don't have your tea, so...
Well, there we go.
I have to order
Pony
it.
up,
So
sister.
I know, you just reminded me. I gotta order it. I'll do it right now. Give me one
Look
second.
at that fun,
It's
Mom.
okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
My girlfriend just gave it to me.
Really? Is it made by somebody fancy?
Yeah, somebody sort of local. It's called Freight House Pottery. She's got a beautiful Instagram account. It's really lovely. I don't know where she's located, but anyway, it's her. And so I've been following Freight House, and then my friend Jay got this for me, and then she told me, and I was like, oh, and she said it's her friend's daughter who does it.
I love the shape of it.
So it's kombucha. I don't know if you drink kombucha or if you're like a cootie person, but you can try it. But so she does this thing where if she has like leftover
I love
pottery,
this.
she leaves it outside, and then people just like donate money, kind of like the tulips.
Oh,
on the side
yeah.
of the road.
That's cool.
It's really lovely. This is kind of an honor system.
It's just so unique.
Yeah, it's cute.
Alright guys, it's Alex and I'm here with Erin from
Hey.
Revkor.
Yeah.
So today we are out here in Cambridge, checking out this spot. It's been around for, how long have you guys been around for?
We opened just about 3.5 years ago in Cambridge. But we started Revkor, 2012.
Wow, amazing.
Yep.
So it's a very cool, unique concept. I've actually never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I've done one of each. I did a core board class and a Revkor class.
Yeah.
And that was the most challenging yet fun kind
We
of
have to get them out to a high-intensity
version of-
class. That's next.
I don't know. We'll find
That's
out.
next.
We'll find out. Maybe I should do a vlog on that.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. That would be amazing. I love it.
But yeah, so anyway, so here, just really trying to, kind of give a voice to the micro gym community in southwestern Ontario. And again, I always forget that I know so much of what's happening around in the area because I try to, as much as I can stay on top of these things.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. And every time I kind of mention Revkor about
Yeah.
you guys, everyone's like, so what is that?
We're still
thing?
so
Whatever."
small.
Yeah, and it's just so unique that I'm just surprised more people don't know.
Yep.
But anyways, so let's even just start with like a little bit more about yourself. How'd you get into fitness? How did this even begin? That whole kind of thing.
Oh boy. Well, I think I was kind of born moving. I think movement was just intuitively something that I knew I needed to do in order to be who I am. I grew up dancing and, right away went to assist my dance instructor and knew that sharing movement and helping people move well, right from, early teens, I knew that was something that was important to me. I think that moving through, like later on in my teens, I went through a little rough patch. And there's no question that getting to the gym in my late teens, I think I was around 19 when I got randomly just an awesome trainer. who just kind of reminded me that movement and strength just are such a grounding constant in your life, and that it was just non-negotiable in my world. So fitness has always been around. We all have our little peaks and valleys,
Right.
where you kind of fall off your rhythm and your patterns. But yeah, I've always been teaching movement pretty much my whole life. Lots of yoga for a little while, lots of fitness and personal training and group fitness, and I've kind of done it all. And Revkor came about. I also had, like you, in tandem, a corporate career where it wasn't always running facilities and never was teaching full time, but I did a lot of consulting in our industry, in the wellness and fitness industry, and a lot of brand building and storytelling. And Angela, my business partner, who dreamed up these systems, these suspension systems with resistance bands, our Revkor systems, she was a client, and I actually first saw her on Dragon's Den.
No way.
Yeah, that's how we initially connected. She was making a pitch, and she had, developed these systems. She had opened her little studio in London, and her vision at the time was to bring home kits, bring Revkor in as a home workout. And as soon as I saw what she was demoing on Dragon's Den, I was just like, this is such an important workout. Having been teaching yoga for about a decade, I started to see ways that just strictly from a fitness perspective, yoga was missing some posterior chain. It was missing some back body strength. The pulling motion is impossible, right, with just body weight movement. So when I saw that she was, instructing mindful, controlled movements that added an element of safe resistance. I love resistance bands. I felt like this is it. This is the workout that people need. So I got in touch with her right away. I was writing for Sweat Equity magazine at the time, wrote a little article about her. We hung out, we had lunch, we hit it off, and did a little bit of consulting together. And then before long, we realized that we needed to partner. So
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And so, just seeing it, you knew it was a thing, and then you tried the first workout, and you were like, yeah, this is like...
It was like everything my body was looking for at that time. And what's cool is that, when Ange started the workout, it's interesting because she doesn't have a yoga background, but her mom does. Her mom is a yoga teacher. And so it's interesting that her first sequences were very yoga-based. But as we sort of developed and fell in love with the workout and evolved with the workout evolved with us. So that's when we started to add a lot more deeper strength on the core board, more high intensity. The bands give you tremendous spring and support in jumping. So, when you think about CrossFit, doing box jumps and things like that, it gives people who maybe have had, a knee injury or some limitations with low body strength, the opportunity to jump really high and soften their landing.
Right.
So, the workout has evolved to include lots of different opportunities and ways for people to move. It's been a blast.
I think the coolest thing the first time I saw this was just, and experienced it myself, is just the scalability of the movement. I think coming from a CrossFit background of we strive to make all the movement scalable across all ability levels, it definitely felt like some of the times that I had done yoga before, it's like, well, I definitely can't do that. So I'll do the kind of and a good instructor would give me a substitute.
Awesome.
But here it felt like I can definitely do it. Like I might have to rely on the bands a little more, a little less, but I can still do the thing that you're asking me to do.
You're right, and it's cool because you can use the resistance bands both, as you just said, to challenge you and to support you, which is the neat thing about suspension. And then, I think the other thing that's really fun, we love when our CrossFit friends come and visit all the time because resistance bands are harder than you think, right? Sometimes, people will look at our equipment and think, oh, this isn't going to be very challenging, but it just taps into different muscles, the small little stabilizing muscles. It's pretty fun, right?
When I did that core board class the first time and you're like, you should try the advanced bands. And I was like, yeah, no problem. And then like, nope, I need to try the medium bands.
It's awesome,
it's very,
right?
very different, yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool. And the amount of mindfulness, the way you called it, in terms of what muscle you're moving and how you're supposed to do that. Has it always been like that with Revkor? Like you guys are always when you're talking about hip hinging and stuff like that, I found there's a lot of I guess, terminology that's just generally in fitness
Yeah.
that I've never heard in a group training kind of setting, other than like
Cool.
a CrossFit one-on-one instruction thing. Has
Very
that always
cool.
been a key part of what you guys do?
Yeah, definitely. I think for us, we wanted to always bring a workout that was still highly technical, even though some of our classes are in very large group settings. We are always trying to teach people how to move in ways that that give them a solid foundation for all of the movements that they do. Right. So yeah.
Very cool. And then in terms of how do you guys see yourself as a gym fitting in, the landscape between this and a typical big box studio?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I can't even call it a big box studio, a big box box.
A big box. As far as how are we different?
Yeah, in general, I just feel like the importance of the market, or I guess the importance of the micro gym market, I think is kind of understated. And
oh man, I think this is one of the things that you do so well too, and I think that's why we're friends. To me, it's just about the community. It's about, for us when we created Revkor. I'm a fan of all workouts. Like I believe in movement and I believe in challenging your body in lots of different ways. So you'll never hear me say like, this is the best workout and you should only do this workout. But what I do think is that people need more than anything support in living a connected, healthy lifestyle, right? So we knew that that when we built Revkor and developed the brand, that we wanted to give people really solid tools for supporting positive mindset, eating really well, and also pushing ourselves to celebrate our passions. Like so often as an adult, right? All of those hobbies and passions get kind of swept to the side. So we focus on that a lot in the studio, especially in our challenges and in our one-on-one coaching. And I think that's really what sets us apart. We know our members. You're the same. I know that your crew is family to you. You walk in, everybody kind of knows each other, not in a weird way, but in a really nice, comforting way where you're kind of walking through doors where people have your back. And in the world being the way it is and so busy and almost hyper-connected, social media is great at connecting people, but it can also be isolating in a way, right? It's authentic connection, and I think every small facility offers that, and it's a special thing.
I think it's so cool because there's so many similarities, I think, between what we do and what you guys do.
Yeah.
Just in terms of like you have the community of people, working together to achieve a common goal, celebrate, victories and progress. And then also when it comes to, either working out more regularly, eating better, you actually have a circle of people who are doing it with you and supporting you, as opposed to I'm the only person out of all my friends that's eating well.
Yeah.
And then I think that can be difficult because if you're the only person, then you have to fight the urge of everyone trying to pull you back to that old you.
Yeah, I mean, peer pressure doesn't stop in high school, right? It
almost gets worse.
I think it gets worse, and it's usually the number one thing that people share with us as their ultimate challenge when it comes to maybe not having that extra drink at the on the dock at the cottage, or saying a family, like a culture. Food is such a sensitive thing, right? People love to share food. There's food traditions. People feel guilty saying no to mom's whatever it might be, or grandma's big whatever that she's famous for. It's emotional, right? So knowing that you have a place where you're kind of grounded in similar intentions and philosophies, I think it just gives people, it certainly gives me it's grounding.
It really is. And I also feel like the biggest difference, I felt like there was always, through school, there was always this group of people that you could, through high school into university, there's always groups of people that you can gravitate towards, that you have a lot in common with, because you're in a room of everyone's your same age. There's 400 people in this lecture. You'll find 4 or 5 people that you get along with. As soon as you leave school and you go to the workforce and the regular world, all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of coworkers. You have some friends that you're trying to hang on to, but you're working so much that the friendships can, they change and they evolve.
And people change,
And then all of a sudden it becomes like, well, where's your kind of community
crew?
That's all kind of pushing together? Because in school, school, you're all trying to graduate, right? Everyone's trying to move in the same direction.
I was actually just trying to have a smoke in the bushes.
Just like that. Just get by.
I just wanted to
D
be like,
equals degree.
when can I sneak out? When won't they notice me? High school was a good time. It was a good time.
You got to have a good time at some point.
It was different.
But then seeing the community and having, that push to work to better yourself together is not, it's not pervasive in our culture.
Yeah.
We'd like it to be. I think all of us that are in this would like it to be, but it's great to have a community.
Yeah.
And then I noticed you guys do a lot of like different like challenges and nutrition challenges and stuff. Can you tell us a little more about that? Like, what's the benefit in doing them? What have you noticed are the big wins of, having the whole community come together for 30 days, 90 days?
How many challenges? Do you guys do an annual challenge?
Not particularly, actually. We've done challenges in the past that have done so we do like monthly challenges. We'll be like, so for the month of August last year, we did like run a mile every day.
We'll great. I remember you doing that. Yeah, so you guys were like running outside, right?
Yes.
And very cool.
So that was one. Then we'll have like a, do 50 squats every day for a month. Just participation. Sometimes it's, a 6-week nutrition kind of challenge.
Yeah.
But you guys have done a bunch too, and I really like you guys have, I'll maybe take some video, like the sticker board for attendance and that kind of, it's a very cool concept. And
yeah, I think I created something maybe 3 years ago that we called the Rebellion Challenge, and we tend to run that at least once a year. It's 8 weeks, and that challenge is something that I created in response to what I was seeing, to be honest, for a lot of women's fitness. I noticed that a lot of my female clients who were coming in were talking to me about their past fitness experiences being really focused on inch loss and pant size stuff. And it just honestly gives me the heebie-jeebies, because I just think that we're so much more than like inches. And I also strongly believe that that inch loss or weight loss just simply can't be the motivator for living your best, healthiest life. So I wanted to create a challenge that could help people understand that that being healthy is really something you're doing for your mind and your body. And that, while it's great, like I think weight loss is an excellent goal for people who need to lose weight to be healthier. I think that weight loss happens when you're treating your body right, just like so many other things happen. So basically with the Rebellion Challenge, it's an 8-step challenge. Every single week has a theme, and it's a mindset-focused challenge. So there's always a workout goal associated with it, but there's also weekly goals connected to living some of your passions out, dedicating yourself to stillness and quiet time, journaling, like not monthly, every morning, like gratitude journaling.
Right.
Quick, super simple. I love the 5-minute journals. So a lot of our members use a 5-minute journal. It's really just about creating a lifestyle that is grounded in a healthy mindset, and less about, I would so often hear people say like, oh, I did this fitness challenge. It was 30 days. I lost 23 pounds. I was so hungry. I ate cucumbers and almonds and shakes, and then I just fell right off the rails. And it was pizza and beer all summer long, and then in the fall, I want to get back at it, right? So we wanted to take people off of that kind of failure cycle, and just give them tools to still be able to have an awesome time and enjoy the summer sun and have a cocktail on the patio, or your favorite meal, and it's just part of your lifestyle, living fully but also having discipline.
I like that. I definitely also see things very similarly in terms of, I think wherever you are is a symptom of your habits. It's not something that you need to punish. It's not something that you need to, regret necessarily. You can learn from it. But the key is to develop new habits, and taking that time to be mindful, work out more often,
forever.
Have one less drink.
Yeah.
The solution isn't to go for 30 days of eating cucumbers and drinking fit tea or something. Lose a bunch of weight and then go, because it's not sustainable.
And you don't really feel well usually when you go.
And you haven't built any new habits.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, is like we're creatures of habit. So if you didn't build the habit of making more time to exercise or move or pursue a passion, it's not going to be something that's going to be around there later for you.
And relying on a trainer too. I mean, we're always here to be a coach and a guide and a support. But I love knowing that my members have their own tools on the inside to self-motivate, because we have to have those tools, whether it's, a tough day at work or, life is hard and it's stressful. And the more, as you say, we can develop those healthy mindset habits, the more we're able to pull ourselves through difficult moments on all levels and stay on a healthy living trajectory. That's why we love to do the challenge. We do a challenge twice a year, always in the toughest times. So before Christmas and then right at the beginning of patio season, where, it's the hardest time to hold it together. So we don't do them in New Year's and we don't do them in the fall, which is when most people love to do a challenge, because we like to just give people the ultimate support during the hardest time.
I think the thing is, it's always, when's the, what's that Chinese proverb? Like, the best time to plant a tree is 40 years ago. The second best time is like today, like now. I think it's interesting because a lot of people will use that, like, no, I'll start Monday, or like after Christmas and the holidays, then I'll get it together. And of course, because I'm going to get it together after Christmas, means I'm going to binge like crazy this Christmas, because
better enjoy.
Yeah, I got to enjoy it while I got it, as opposed to having this, like, let's get through the season. And be mindful about it and just be making small steps in the right direction.
And
it's not about
small shifts, right? It's like, it's not about being that person at the table that has like 3 pieces of broccoli on your plate. It's about
my Tupperware in my pocket.
And I've done that, and you've done that. It's like we've all done that, and it's not necessary, right? It's just about, as you said, maybe just opting for one less glass of wine, or just, looking at your portions and being mindful and just asking yourself, am I full? Like, I think I'm full. I think I'm good. Just being aware and checking in and
getting to that point where you realize, like, I don't need to eat anymore. Not like, I think I can fit a little more in. Let's, just flipping the question that you ask yourself a little bit.
Yeah. And how does it make me feel? Because at the end of the day, we don't actually feel good when we do those things, right? Like if we eat too much pizza, if we have too many drinks, if we, eat the whole bag of chips instead of just a little bowl, we always feel some sort of sickness after, right? Whether it's a pizza hangover is almost as bad sometimes as a beer hangover, so you pay for it. So it's about saying, like, I'd like to take care of myself and feel really good tomorrow when I wake up,
right?
And caring about, yourself the way you would for a friend.
Yeah, that's huge. A lot of interesting things that I've like read and talked to is, instead of having that like negative self-talk, because like imagine if you were talking to yourself, you're your own child, and what would you tell yourself? As opposed to all the, like, I can't do this, or I'm having a really hard time with this. It's okay to acknowledge it, but then in terms of moving forward, how would you talk to yourself? If you were your own best friend, and really you are.
We should be. We all do that though, right? That inner dialogue, it's pretty frightening what's in there sometimes.
Yeah, it really is. You were telling me a little bit about a program that you guys do in the summer for teenage girls.
Oh yeah, actually we're just launching this. We're really excited about it. So we started free programming for girls, I think about 1.5 years ago. We called it She Runs the World. And we're really believing that it's a prime time for girls to have more support. I think social media is a really tough thing. If I think about being a teen, I can't imagine if my teenage years were on camera. It's like everything's recorded for kids these days. And I think it's a tough time to be a teenager. And there's so much valuable conversation coming up in the last 2 years from women and girls that we felt like it was a great time to kind of contribute and add a safe space and some positive activities. So we started with free programming on our Wednesday nights, which was awesome. We also
you can drop in for free, do a workout.
Yeah, it was right after school. We ran a free class from for an hour right after school, and it included always like a 10 or 15 minute coaching chat. Actually, about our rebellion principles. We would always talk about one of those steps and how to incorporate those mindsets into day-to-day life. We have offered camps for like March break and summer camps and stuff. And then this summer, I'm really excited. One of our staff, Amanda, our kinesiologist, is just so amazing at working with youth. She's been training a couple of our teens here one-on-one. So we're going to be introducing a 4-week training program, personal training program for girls. I think it's going to be 16 to 18. So we're going to be launching this next week. And the thing that we're most excited about is that those girls in the program will have access to our coaching app. And all of the content in the app will be designed around all of the different challenges that girls are facing today. So it's going to talk a lot about body positivity, eating to truly nourish your body, how to resist pressures around like being thin and weight loss and all the sort of physical pressures, but also teaching girls things that are useful as they go off to university, like how to make a meal for $5 that's healthy, because everybody knows that freshman year is like the ultimate drive-through, like
order
fast
pizza
food,
and drink
right?
beer. Yep.
So just how to get have some healthy tools around your nutrition. They're going to learn some amazing body awareness, which I think is really vital at that age. And I also think that it's really, really life-changing for young girls to learn about strength. I think, unfortunately, women still get lumped into group fitness, as if that's for women, and then guys are in the weight room. I think it's shifting a lot. You must see this. It's so empowering for women to pick up a weight. So many people women have never picked up a weight in their lives, right? So we're really excited to teach some of those younger women about the power of strength, and what a I think lifelong thing that really needs to be staying strong as a woman.
That's very cool.
So we're pumped about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
a lot of cool community-driven things. Again, a lot of parallels that I noticed from what we're doing, and it's just so interesting to see that, like, while our methodologies are similar yet different,
so
there's
different,
still so
right?
much in common that we have.
Well, we both have an event planning background, right? And I think that for me, and a hospitality background, right? You worked in hospitality too. So for me, I think that's one of the things that I love the most is just creating a space where people can have a good time. But I also love, I'm from Toronto, and moving out here to Cambridge, this is such a much smaller community, and it's just so fun for me because people are already connected here.
Right.
So you can just deepen the connection, and it's also fun because as a small community, we don't have the same access to like little boutiques and shops and things like that. So it's fun to bring in unique things.
Yeah, I think every time I've been out here with you, we've run into like 4 or 5 people that which is really cool.
It can be really small town. It's like, hello, right?
Everyone knows. That's awesome.
Yeah. And if you go to the grocery store, you're going to see like 10 people who are looking in your cart. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's a small town. How many facility owners that you chat with and see bring their dogs to the gym?
Oh, that's a great question. Not that many, actually. Like, I bring my guy. There's in the CrossFit side of things, there's an interesting, I guess, movement with some people where like some people are like completely anti-dog.
Really?
Yeah, and they're like, it's not professional, you know. And I think, I guess it's all those things. To me, it's like it's a it depends question.
Yes.
Because when it's really busy, I'll put my guy in my office, and he doesn't run around. He doesn't do whatever. And some people aren't comfortable with dogs, so he'll just sit in my office. There's a difference between that. And so for us, he's the only dog that's allowed at the gym because you can't.
You can't be bringing your dog to the gym. Although my niece dog does come here from time to time.
Must be really cute.
Her name's Doris. She's amazing. But I bring all 3 of my dogs here, not at once, but I'll bring 2 at a time. And
there's a dog bed right over here.
Yeah, there's always a dog bed here. But I love the way that animals kind of bring people together too, because I think so often I see this in your facility too. Like, I think of CrossFit, this can be intimidating for people, and then people see a dog and they're like, oh, right. It just immediately makes people feel comfortable.
Well, I think that there's this. It's weird. It's almost like a two-edged sword right now. There's a big push to professionalize the CrossFit box, if you will.
Yeah.
Because I think because the movement was so revolutionary and unique, people were able to get away with it just being like, hey, like we opened up, here's some mats, here's something, doesn't have to be clean, just come on in and do it. Yeah. So of course at the beginning that worked.
Yeah.
it doesn't work anymore. Because now if you're like, I'm paying $200 a month, I kind of want it to be clean. I don't
like
want to
it
do
to be
burpees
clean.
and be covered in like black dirt,
Yeah.
which is completely a fair thing. So you do need to be more professional. But then there's a point where we still don't need to turn into, you know, a traditional big box thing where like,
Yes.
okay, now I don't know your name and I'm, you know, being super like
You
cold
have
and
to keep your
standoffish.
grit. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what CrossFit has always
It's
been
still
all
a
about.
community,
It's homegrown.
right?
Yeah.
It's still a little small community group where everyone
Yeah.
kind of knows everyone.
Yeah.
You're literally, you know, what, 1 degree of separation away
Yes.
from everyone that you're working out. And that, to me, that's part of the appeal. And I think
Definitely.
that's the same thing as like a little local coffee shop versus going
Yeah.
to Starbucks. And not
Totally.
that there's anything wrong with Starbucks.
Yeah.
It's just a different experience.
Yep. Yeah, it's a different experience, and I think it's so cool. I mean, one of the things it's funny. Someone nominated us recently for one of those like awards, like, you know, that the newspaper does, like
Yeah.
the best whatever in Cambridge. And I actually called the paper and I asked them to remove our nomination. I've had to do that a few times, and finally they asked me like, why would you do that? And I just said, you know what, like. I really would love for small business in general, but especially in the movement community, I would just love for us not to compete, because I just want everyone to move, and I just want them to go to the other gym. I
Yeah.
want them to go to the other yoga studio, because I just think movement will change your life, and wherever you land, wherever you feel at home, I want you to go there, and I want all those facilities to thrive, because the more we all thrive, the more people move.
That's exactly it. I think coming from that, like, you know, instead of being from the scarcity mindset of like, there's this many people that exercise, I need to get my cut, and that's it. To me, you know, we're fighting the couch. We're fighting inactivity.
Yeah.
That's the real,
Yeah.
you know, that's the real.
That's our primary
enemy.
competition.
Yeah, it's not the
It's
other gym down the
Netflix.
street doing a different style
No.
of movement. And it kind of bothers me that a lot of people will actively, you know, degrade other movement styles of,
Yeah.
oh, like that is dumb, or this is dumb, or that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because, don't get me wrong, there's definitely different layers of quality when
Yeah.
it comes to how a coach delivers a program, but I would still rather you move than not
Than
move.
not.
So instead of like trying to, you know, put people down, why
Yeah.
don't we, you know, rise the tide for movement in general? And I really think, to
Totally.
me, the big push to community fitness, I think, which I would, you know, kind of call
Yeah.
this, is like having a community of people that you're getting in shape with. I think that's the real future. It's not going to a gym where you don't know anyone, you swipe your card, the person that you've never met before like waves you on through,
Yeah.
and then you go in. To me, I think having a community of people is important, just sociologically and psychologically,
Yeah.
and then having, you know, that push to better yourself and
Yeah.
be surrounded with people who are also bettering themselves. Because it's interesting once you start noticing, and I'm sure you have these stories too. We have a lot of people who come in, you know, they're not sure, they're bored with their workout, they're trying something different, they almost don't know what they're looking for. And then really quickly, you know, 6 months, a year later, talking to them, they're like, you have no idea how this has changed my life. Like,
Yeah.
I got a promotion at work, and this got better, and that got better. It's just because everyone that was around them, it's like, you know, it's okay to go to bed early.
Yeah.
It's okay to wake up at 5 to work out.
Yeah.
It's okay to not have that extra wine. You're like,
Yeah.
oh man, like I can actually like pursue these things I wanted to, and I'm
Yeah.
not being pulled in the other direction because this community made it okay.
Yeah. I think the community is as powerful as any of the other stuff that we do, if not more. And it's something that we're missing these days, right? It's like I said about social media. We feel connected because we're constantly, but that's not real connection. It's
No.
not authentic connection. So, you know, with everyone being so busy and juggling so many things, I just think that hour that you show up at the gym and just have, like, even if you're super shy, you feel the energy, right? And you feel the support, and I think it boosts you up, and there's no end to where that can go, that connection, you know?
That's true. What kind of lessons has just fitness in general taught you that you've been able to apply to your business?
Oh my gosh, everything, right? I mean, discipline, perseverance, those are the biggest things. I think that one of the things that we talk about in Rebellion a lot is just being aware of the language that we use. So oftentimes in fitness, like I had arthritis onset really early. And so I would find myself saying things like, oh, this is my bad shoulder, or this is my, you know, messed up knee. And really thinking about shifting how we talk to ourselves and about ourselves, and focusing on, like, this is my strong side.
Right.
And this is where I need work, right? And I think that is business, right? Recognizing your talents and your gifts, knowing where to get help and to recruit the best help that you can find, being humble enough to say, I'm not perfect at everything, but I'm going to keep improving. Oh my Lord, like
It keeps going.
yeah, like fitness really is such a metaphor. And I think, even if you think about, just simply doing repetitions or moving through a minute of cardio, like it's just like life. It's like 1 second at a time. And man, when life is tough and you're going through a big challenge, sometimes that's all you've got is like, okay, I can survive this a breath at a time. And I know for a lot of our members, they'll say to me, like, I got through that tough time because I thought about the minutes at the studio where it's like, okay, just focus right on this movement, on this breath even. And that's just how you survive everything.
It's almost like being present in the moment and addressing the thing that needs to be addressed and not letting the overwhelmingness of the situation that you're in kind of creep in. Because if you have a huge uphill battle ahead of you, you can focus on that and be almost paralyzed and stuck in inaction. Or you can be like, well, I need to take this next step right now, and I'll deal with the step after that, like when I get there. But right now, I got to worry about holding this pose for.
That's what I love about
seconds.
CrossFit, because I think that to the average person who is maybe a real fitness novice or who doesn't have any background with heavy weights, it in your mind is easy to walk in and say, oh my gosh, what that guy's doing over there, I'm never going to be able to do that. But it's just about layers, right? Like, you'll show them you're going to start here and you're going to work there, and then it's just don't worry about what that guy's doing, and then it's going to be this, and then it's going to be this. And I think that's strength training in general. We always hear people say like, oh, I'll never be able to, what that person's doing is just never going to be for me. And there's nothing better than seeing people get to that place, but it has to be a slow and steady wins the race.
That's
right?
exactly it. And I mean, I think that's one of the most rewarding parts of this whole thing is seeing the potential in someone that they don't see yet themselves. And then when they finally kind of just like, not even when they completely reach it. Yeah. Because I mean, we're all continually growing. But when you see their eyes are open, like, oh man, like maybe I can do that. You're like, like, that's it. You see it now too, because I saw it the whole time. But now you see it.
Yeah, and even seeing it with your staff, right? It's like we and others seeing it in you. Yep. It's just a great environment to be around where everybody's rooting for the best possible outcome for you, and that's it's most people don't find that even under their own roof a lot of times because we're just busy getting through the day. So we're so lucky that we get to do what we do.
That's so cool. I wish that more small gym business and micro gym business owners had that same mentality, kind of going back to our earlier point of the same way that when you're in a class, everyone's cheering for everyone else. I wish it was more, we're cheering for everyone else's success. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, there's still more people than our gyms. Yes. We're in no danger of not having enough people. No, we're in no danger. If we just got more people exercising. Yep. That's it. Yep. So I noticed that you guys have like 2 different rooms, and they're 2 different programs. So one's Revkor, but the other one is Core Board. So Core Board is actually the first one that I tried before I tried a Revkor class. And it's significantly more challenging. Yeah. Because there's resistance like everywhere. Like, where did the idea for that version of it come from? Because already, like, Revkor in general is just like a... It totally makes sense to me, but I was like, that's already a huge leap. And then to innovate on that again, I'm like, wow, this is great.
Well, I love that question because it goes back to what I was saying earlier about like how for Ange and I, the workout has kind of evolved with us. What we sort of want in our bodies, we just try and create it, right, for our members. And the biggest thing to me is never getting stuck and saying like, oh, no, our workout is, we use these as overhead bands and this is the only way to work out. I think both Ange and I were missing the feeling of a traditional gym workout with free weights. But when we would go back to those free weights, we were noticing, especially for me with I've got pretty hardcore arthritis in my hands. So when I pick up dumbbells, oftentimes I really have achy hands. And just the science behind resistance bands and the way they work, it's just such a nice, safe way to strength train. So we spent a lot of time trying to figure out like, okay, it does feel different to pull from the floor versus overhead. You can lay on your back and do a bicep curl at the Revkor bands with the overhead, but it feels different on the core board, right? So that's really where it came from. We wanted to try and create a modality that gave people also the opportunity to attach resistance to their legs, so that we could do some resisted leg work and some stability work that way. So resistance bands are so stability focused, right? That's why they're so much fun and so effective. And physios obviously use them for therapeutic training. So we see those therapeutic benefits as well. So it's been really neat on the core board because it's a little bit heavier resistance that we cue, but it still is really helping people kind of rehab those shoulders and hips and knees and get some really nice stability in the body. It's smaller groups. It's a little bit intimidating at first, right? When people look at it, it's like,
Definitely
oh my gosh,
hardcore, yeah.
there's bands coming from every which way. But once you kind of get on it, it's like, okay, you know what, I can do this, and we've loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's very cool to see the evolution, and I guess your open-mindedness beyond your first innovation to like we're still looking for ways to not necessarily change the first workout. But to offer a different service or a different product that's going to be complementary to the first one.
Yeah, I think that was important to me coming from the yoga world for a while, where I noticed that there were people in multiple camps. So you had yoga practitioners who really embraced other modalities and fitness and a variety of different forms of yoga, and then you have that kind of subset who are like, this is the yoga, this is the way you do it, you do these movements, and these are the ones, and it never changes, and that's your lifelong way of moving.
Right.
And it was just so important to me that we never be that type of company, even though we kind of planted our roots in resistance bands and a passion for that. We promised ourselves from day one that we would always evolve, and the odds are, if my body is craving something, my members are too. And I know that you are the same way with your members. It's just keeping an open mind. It's like life, right? And not being stuck or finite.
And not being dogmatic to like, this is what it is. It's going to be like this forever. Never changes.
Don't you think? I think a lot of people trip up there. I think that it's because we can become protective of what we've created or protective of a philosophy, but everything grows and evolves. I
think it's necessary for it to grow and evolve and change, because that's how all new things get discovered. And there's so many different parts to fitness, with the physiological and the psychological, right? Like you have to have fun when working out. I had this discussion with a lot of people.
And surprises, right? Like life is not predictable. Life is very surprising.
Yeah.
So I think that your fitness should always mirror life as best it can. Like I think it's got to come complete with, lots of different twists and turns. And I think that's the stuff that teaches you how to navigate ups and downs in life. I do. So we try to keep it fresh, as you guys do too, I know.
Yeah, you want to make sure that, you're beyond having a great workout, you're also enjoying and having fun when you're in the gym, because I feel there's so many things in life that, fitness should not be a chore. It shouldn't be flossing your teeth or doing your laundry.
No, it shouldn't
you
be
got to do that stuff. It should be
Do you
enjoyable.
see shifts in the CrossFit community? I see some shifts going on, like really embracing different mobility, methodologies and things like that. Do you see some shifts happening?
There was a big push for mobility. I mean, when I started CrossFit, it was because it was so new. And it was kind of like born and evolving. Warming up was like, you don't need to warm up. You don't need to stretch. Stretching's for suckers. Like literally, these are the conversations that we had with people. And I was like, well, I guess that's what it is. But I came from a sport background. I was never a workout guy. And sports is all about like warm up, cool down, extra stretching, rehab. Anyway, so it's interesting to see it, come around.
I love it.
People are understanding how it's important. It's just like anything, though. I think CrossFitters definitely are a subset of the fitness population that will always take the thing like as far as they possibly can. So then, you get the people who are like, all I'm going to do is like 4 hours of mobility every week and work out a couple times. And it's like, well, let's find that happy balance of like, you do need to be mobile, but there is a point where you're mobile enough as a person. And for someone that has really poor mobility, I have like 3 pins in my ankle and all that kind of stuff. There's mobile enough that I'm healthy, and anything beyond that's great. But you don't have to push it too far.
Balance.
But it's nice to see people adding in different kinds of, complementing their exercise. Even now, the training cycle that we're in right now actually has like an explicit like cardio component.
Crazy.
Into it,
Awesome.
Which, 3-4 years ago, I think there
Never.
would have been a mutiny.
Yeah.
But now, like, people are still groaning and complaining, but people are doing it.
Yeah.
So one day a week, it's either intervals or whatever, literally
Yeah.
just on the bike or on
Sweet.
a rower, and it's that's a change now where people are like, okay, cardio is important. I'm like, yes,
Cool.
it was never not important.
Yeah.
It's just different.
Yeah. Yeah, right? I mean, I love it. And I'm sure it's a huge challenge for those people who have been, avoiding cardio. It's such a great thing to remember, like, oh, yeah, this is what it feels like to grind and push every second.
It's
It's
so
tough.
different, and it's still fun in a group. That's a lot of the interesting feedback that I got. What they're like, I would have never done this on my own.
Never.
And I was
yeah.
like, no, it was
Oh,
boring to
cardio
me.
is in a group. I mean, I know I'm not a runner, but I really appreciate running, and I can respect that kind of solitary, like, get in the zone. But there is nothing like cardio in a group. Like, it was one of my favorite things. I was here this morning teaching at 6 a.m. and I can see, like, if there was any one of us here alone doing a minute of burpees or whatever it is that we're doing, you're probably gonna tap out after 3. But when everybody's in it together, it's like being on a team, right? Like
Yep.
you go the distance for your team and to support that energy, and it's my favorite. I love it.
No, it's so cool to see that evolve and to see the group evolve to, people are now, let's get a group together, we're going to go run a 5K, we're going to do
Cool.
whatever. And before it was like, we don't have to run, we don't have to do that.
We're CrossFitters. We're not running anywhere.
No.
Yeah.
We run in between lifting weights, like that's all we do. So it's been cool to see the evolution.
I
for
love
sure.
it.
Yeah, cool. If someone's watching this, they've never tried Revkor, what would you tell them to?
Yeah, well, I mean, so we're still a pretty small company. Ange and I operate our studios. She's in London and I'm here in Cambridge. We have this amazing studio up north in Northern Ontario, which is Ange's hometown in New Liskeard. And
Where's that?
New Liskeard. It's funny. It's the 6 degrees of New Liskeard. Have you heard of New Liskeard?
Like, I think the first time
Only
you told
'cause
me
of
about
me.
it, but I don't even remember it because I just
Right?
think of like Lisgar is like a station on the go somewhere, but New Lisgar I've never heard of.
So it's I think it's a good 7-hour drive, but it's funny because oftentimes when I mention we have a studio up there, I'm blown away that oftentimes people will be like, oh yeah, I have an aunt up there,
Oh,
or
no
my
way.
cousin lives there, because it's such a small community.
Right.
And then we have another studio out west. So, if you want to come in, the studio here in Cambridge always has a first-timer free class pass. You just book online, the system prompts you to pay, and you just go free first-timer class pass is your payment option. We always do a free first class because it is such a different workout. Nobody else has Revkor systems because we invented them. So it's brand new to people, and I always think it takes so much courage to try something new. And people can always message us and let us know they're popping in for a visit. We love when out-of-town people come and pay us a visit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Erin, thank you so much for taking
Thanks
the time.
for coming. We
It's
love
been
when
a
you
cool,
visit.
It's been a cool experience as always. This place was a bank before. There's actually a bank vault here, so this is like one of the most unique.
Yeah.
Man, if I could find something like this for a CrossFit gym, it'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Such a
You
cool
just
spot.
move in. We'll just put an addition on.
Yeah, right? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Erin, thank you.
Thanks. Have a good one.
See you guys later.